Mhm.
So, Michael.
Good morning.
Michael, because I call you usually Michael, and we speak usually the other language, I mean German. Today I have to switch a little bit and remember that the language, our language is English for the interview. Thank you so much, first of all, that you accepted my invitation, and you will be the speaker of this big event, TimeWaver Healy, November 18. I was thinking before our meeting that I already have been talking with you as a TimeWaver therapist, as a Healy user, as a TimeWaver distributor, but I never have been talking with you, and today is the first time, as the organizer of a conference and the president of the Polish Association for Energy and Information Medicine. So, my dear, thank you so much that you will be part of this huge event, which is for me very, very important because of many aspects. But before we will be talking about the conference, let me introduce you to the Polish audience, because people working with TimeWaver know you very, very well. But we will have also guests from Poland which are not working with TimeWaver and Healy yet. So I will do it in English, not in Polish, because we will be also having guests from all around the world in our conference. So, dear ones, I have a huge pleasure to invite to our conference and to say hi to our guest, Michael Danz, who for me is a actually perfect combination of a theoretical knowledge about TimeWaver first, practical experience, and also a spiritual aspect, spiritual path. You combined it perfectly, very well, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, this is a very high. Good morning, first of all. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for inviting me. I'm also excited to speak on your conference, which is the first time in that constellation. So thank you so much. And yeah, you've touched very interesting points, because theory and practice is a very important thing to align. There's a saying in English, you should walk what you talk. And if people don't walk what they talk, then usually they're not authentic, and the effect they have is not very, there's not much of an effect. So therefore, me personally, but also that is my attempt to, what I want to create within the TimeWaver community, to create authentic human beings, which means whatever they talk, they should also be able to practically manifest in their behavior, in their work, in their dealing with others, in their personal relationships, and so on. So yeah, very good point.
When I was reading your bio, so your path, step by step, I saw there few points which I think are very meaningful for you. And I wanted to ask you personally, what step on your path was, or which steps were for you, especially in the context of working with TimeWaver, the most important ones?
Which steps? First of all, as in my bio, I was of course born in the GDR, in the East German part, which was former communist era. And but luckily, when the reunification with West Germany came, I was still kind of a child. So I was not really going into the political direction of East Germany. And I could kind of experience my childhood in the GDR. But then whenever I grew up in my puberty, I was in so-called reunified Germany. So I had kind of the best from both sides, you could say. But whenever I could think or started thinking for myself, you could say when you are 16, 17, 18 years, puberty kicks in and you're kind of asking these questions. Why am I here? What's going on in this world? Why are things the way they are? Then I very quickly realized this is something needs to be different. There are no real answers to my questions, even though I was studying and even though I had I was going to high school and all of it, but my real questions, my inner quests, they haven't been answered. So I was going on a search, you could say, on the soul searching. That means I was kind of following this inner call of really trying to find answers, which led me to some monastery, which led me to some spiritual place where for 5 years I would practice like a life of a monk, you could say, and studying Indian scriptures, practicing yoga, having association with like-minded people, getting up very early in the morning, doing some meditation and so on. So it was a 24/7 full-on spiritual daily practice, which actually formed the foundation of my life, you could say. And even now, whatever I do is kind of based on what I have experienced there. And I'm continuing, but in, of course, a different speed and in different environment. Now I'm not living in a monastery, but the people which surround me are still, let's say, on the same frequency. So that's very beautiful. That was one of the main, you could say, milestones in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the foundation, and it doesn't matter what we are doing in our life, is, I think, crucial. Without it, I cannot imagine going through all storms we are actually facing in our life. So having the foundation is like what I'm thinking about, it's the yoga pose when you are standing like a tree, and when your roots are very deep in the earth, Mother Earth, you are faced anything, and you are just having this solid foundation behind. When have you been for the first time meeting the TimeWaver device when it was the very first moment?
Yeah. It's a good point, because I know Marcus still from my time, from the monkhood time, you could say. That was even before TimeWaver existed. So I know him since 20-something years. But back then there was no TimeWaver. So then I did my study and went to London for some time to work. And when I came back in 2009, we formed the first plans. I met Marcus again. And somehow or other, I was fascinated by his idea, because he wanted to create really a bit of a new world, you could say, based on a quantum physical device. And then I was very much fascinated. And I was already working for him a little bit, so much so that at some point I said, okay, I have to move here. And we actually started creating TimeWaver headquarters. Plus, we created a very spiritual community around it, which by now are 40-50 people. And we also meet privately, not just work-wise. So it's a combination of work and spiritual privacy, you could say. And that started in 2010, really took off 2010. 2010, January 2010, I worked for TimeWaver, let's say on a payroll, you could say.
Okay, so around 13 years.
13 years by now. Yeah.
13 years. It's a long time, actually. I think I cannot actually now imagine TimeWaver community without you, because you are on one side someone behind the theoretical knowledge, but on the other side, I think, and we have been talking also with Michaela Stoll about it online, who will be also the speaker, that you are one of hearts of TimeWaver. Yes, because your spirit, your enthusiasm, your love for people is really felt by TimeWaver users all around the world. So it's a huge value, I think, my dear.
Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, this is the idea of yoga, because you said this already. Yeah, we usually know in the West yoga that we know some asanas, some body postures and some exercises, but this is just a very small part of what yoga actually really means, because the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yug, which means like to connect two things to one another, which means actually two becomes one. Yes. This is equivalent, or let's say this makes sense in the context of the we connecting to the absolute, but it also makes sense in the context of we connecting to one another. And to have meaningful relationships and have deep and beneficial relationships is something we really have to invest our time and energy in. So I think TimeWaver is a bridge to really meaningful, deep spiritual relationships. And the system just is perfect for this, to be honest with you.
I'm very happy that you mentioned the word connection. And that we have to connect because actually the idea behind this event was that there are two wonderful systems, TimeWaver and Healy, and the perfect way, because they belong actually together, is to make a bridge, to connect. That's why the idea of the Congress. But before we start talking about the Congress and your lecture, tell me, and actually not me, but the people which will watch us before the Congress, what is TimeWaver? What is TimeWaver? Yeah. Because imagine, of course, TimeWaver users, Healy users, which will find us on YouTube, will perfectly know what it is. But I mean, for people who will just jump into the interview, I want them to know, to have the little hint of that.
Yeah, of course, on the surface, TimeWaver is a quantum physical device based on software and hardware, which can help, let's say, users in coaching, in holistic alternative therapy, or in business coaching, you name it. There are many different areas you can use the system. But that, as we said, is just, let's say, on the surface level. If you go deeper, TimeWaver is a lifestyle. It's actually a state of consciousness, you could even say. It's not just a materialized system which can help you to accomplish certain things or help your clients and yourself in life, but it is actually a lifestyle because it is life-changing, because I have seen it many, many times, not just with myself, but also with clients I do take care of, that it does change their life. And all of a sudden, let's say, for example, they become vegetarians, just to give one example, because they realize, hey, there is some kind of law of universal balance. And if I am responsible for violence directly or indirectly, and indirectly means I'm eating meat, then I cannot be part of this. I have to stop this. And as we said in the beginning, we should walk what we talk. So if I'm talking about the change and changing my own consciousness, I also have to manifest this in the dealings between humans, but also between other living beings, which are animals. So I see there is a practical change taking place. And this is actually what inspires me the most, to be honest with you, because this is the potential to change. So therefore, TimeWaver is really a lifestyle. It's a life companion. And that's also the topic I want to talk about when I come to your conference, that how can TimeWaver stay with you for the rest of your life? TimeWaver is a bit like in a compass. It corrects us when we see like we should actually do a little bit more. We should go a little bit more in that direction, and we are not doing. Then TimeWaver can show us, okay, you got to go this way better, because then you become more authentic. And a more authentic person is, again, a person who is producing the relevant results with TimeWaver or Healy. And at the end of the day, it's mainly about the person. The system is always secondary. The system is always secondary. So therefore, personal dealings, personal relationships is all that matters at the end of the day.
I always say that TimeWaver, and it doesn't matter if we are talking about TimeWaver Pro or TimeWaver Frequency or TimeWaver McMakin, it is always an extension of us as a TimeWaver users. But also, I'm very happy that you mentioned the life, not only life companion, TimeWaver as a life companion, but also TimeWaver as a way of life. As I wrote in the invitation to the Congress, that having TimeWaver and having Healy, for me personally, is a kind of commitment.
Yeah.
Commitment. So when I want to support people on their way to themselves, I have to be authentic.
Yeah.
So this commitment is actually crucial for me as a TimeWaver and Healy user. And okay, this is TimeWaver. And what would you, as one of the most competent people behind, say about Healy? What is Healy?
Yeah, Healy is, of course, comes from TimeWaver. You could say it is like a little son or child or daughter. You could say this is the next generation in one way. You could say it's a bit like a father-child relationship. This is how I personally see it. That TimeWaver is still that's where the experience and the know-how and the knowledge usually comes from. And that is being used by the child or by Healy to be able to, reach even more people. So you could say TimeWaver is a bit like a vertical. It's the connection to higher realms where knowledge is being, transported. And Healy is going more horizontal, where you actually do reach a lot of people who come in touch with the idea of, quantum physics or information field and this kind of technology. And we see it should be a nice symbiosis, and there should be some synchronicities, and there are. And by now, since we have Healy since 2017, so we also 6 years with Healy, you see many Healy users, they find out about TimeWaver and they realize, wow, okay, I could even go a step further and go really deep into the matter. But some stay with Healy, which is also fine, because you also have positive results just with Healy. But you would rather say TimeWaver is not maybe the product which everyone in the world will at some point maybe have or know, also because it is a professional system and you need also some know-how. But Healy is something for everyone. And so it's, let's say, a small spark, but a relevant spark, like a strong spark of the original system for everyone at home, which is a beautiful start. And it can also stay like this. It's not that everyone who has a Healy needs to have a TimeWaver. Some do, but the symbiosis of both, the horizontal and the vertical, you could say, connection with these two different companies is a very valuable path we can see it develops, right?
Beautifully. I wanted you to talk about TimeWaver and Healy and to say it because I was afraid that when I will start, I will talk and talk and talk because I'm in love with all the devices. Yeah. Many times people ask me, okay, Dobroslawa, tell me what device is your favorite?
Hard
Actually, I cannot say it because I love all of them. I don't know if you know that I will be talking in 1 week in Switzerland, in Geneva, about TimeWaver and Healy and information field technology and frequencies. So I was already asked, okay, but maybe you will choose one and you will speak about one. It's not possible because they all belong together. Okay, but let's talk about your lecture. You will talk about spirituality, about Vedas, and how we can actually work with TimeWaver and Healy, supporting our spiritual path.
Yeah.
The first question, very practical one, is tell the people who are watching you what are Vedas? What is the Vedic tradition?
Yeah, the Vedas. The Vedas are, or the Vedic tradition or cultural background is comes in one way from India. It's the philosophical foundation of the what we know as Indian knowledge. It's based on Veda, on the Vedas, and I guess everyone knows the Ayurveda, which is actually the Veda which is dealing with health. You know, because that is all the scriptures related to Ayurveda. They are meant to help you to help prevent your health, even your youth to some extent, and your mental balance. So that is that part of Veda, which is dealing with the, you know, well-being part. However, there are also parts of the Vedas, and this is kind of the root or the essence, which deal with spiritual development, which deal with the essence of yoga, you could say, where Bhagavad Gita is one book which is quite known all around the world, which is a bit like a Bible in India. But there are many more scriptures which deal with how can we as spiritual beings, which are right now incarnated in a material body, how can we realize our origin? How can we reconnect with the Supreme in whatever way? There are different ways, as there are different yoga paths, but the essence of yoga is the reconnection, because it comes from these two make one root. So it's like, how can we as individual beings reconnect with our eternal spiritual reality and with the Supreme? And that was always fascinating me ever since I was thinking, since I was 16, and I was trying, I would go through many different paths. I was even studying the Bible at some point. But when I came to the Vedas in my search, in my soul searching, you could say, I realized that is the most profound so far for me I could find, or could find on the planet, basically. And it is the most complete knowledge as well. It's not just dealing with, it's also dealing with how you eat and how you stay healthy and how you build a house in the most harmonic way, and how you even dress, which colors are good for you. It touches every aspect of life. So it's a very complete, let's say, system. But the most essential part is how do we realize our spiritual identity? And that is, I guess everyone is on that quest somehow or other. At least at some point in our life, this question pop up in our heart, and then we are like, okay, do I really pursue that calling? Usually 99% they say like, okay, maybe not now, and then life just progresses and we forget about it. But if we really go on that adventure on that spiritual journey, that is the most beautiful journey a soul can embark on. And that is actually,
you said it in a very beautiful way. The most beautiful way the soul can embark.
And that is also what I want to talk about, that spiritual journey, and how you can use TimeWaver to, again, realign yourself to that spiritual journey. I want to show a few practical, let's say, analysis. I prepared something, and I'm still in the process because we still have some time. But that will be the compass, which helps you to realign to that spiritual path, which is the most important in life.
I cannot imagine working with TimeWaver or using Healy without this spiritual aspect, because as we both know, Markus Schmieke, which is the heart behind TimeWaver, was also on this path and still is many, many years. So in TimeWaver, there are integrated a lot of databases which support people, both the users and the clients, to go and evolve on this spiritual path.
That's true. And then also you could say the foundation of how TimeWaver has been developed comes from a spiritual background. So therefore it is a combination. It is a bit a wedding between a spiritual path of yoga coming from the Vedas, plus a very metaphysical, quantum physical, high-tech technology. And that combination, that wedding, or that that let's say relationship is, or the child of that relationship is what we call TimeWaver and Healy.
But also Healy, because I want also to underline that Healy is also a perfect device to support this spiritual path. We have a very good module, chakra module, which can be used to actually enhance and take care, let's say in a very simple way, of energy of chakras. And also in Healy resonance, we have many possibilities.
The Healy coach.
Exactly, in Healy coach to support people and us on this path. When you think about this event, November 18, Congress for TimeWaver and Healy users, from your point of view, why is it important? What is the value behind this event for people?
It's a good question, but yeah, exactly. I guess the value is that we create a resonance area that people who actually are new to the idea, or people who know already about Healy and TimeWaver, can go in resonance with. And we want to create synchronicities. Basically, we want to create a field which is, you know, becoming anyway stronger and stronger, but we want to create a group field of like-minded, let's say, intentions. And this is what we do in webinars as well. But there, the distance is still there. But now we're coming together physically. That field has even a stronger impact. And the synchronicities we can produce with that is, I would say, immense. And this is what people are actually looking for. We want to create relationships. We want to meet like-minded people. We want to see what is possible with Healy and TimeWaver. We want to see who's working with the system, who is successful, you know, why are they successful? We want to hear the secrets. We want to see how people change in their heart. I guess all of this is a beautiful moment, and this is actually the core of that event. So I'm very much looking forward.
Yes, indeed. For me as well. So we are on the same page, Michael. Not the first time and not the last time, I think, that the field and also the feeling of being connected with people which are on the same page is really important, especially nowadays at the beginning of the 21st century. Thank you so much for this interview, and I will say only a few words for people watching us, that you are very, very welcome to our Holistic Congress TimeWaver and Healy, November 18 in Poznań in Poland. You will find the link below our meeting, our interview. And we are looking forward to meet you, to see you, to exchange with you. See you, I can say, do zobaczenia in Polish. We are very excited to meet on November 18. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.